lost my daughter, Christine, to the most vicious monster, the disease of addiction. It always bothered me Christine couldn't go to college. I didn't feel it was safe for her to go to school because there were no college recovery programs back then. When Christine died of a fentanyl overdose, I felt I had to do something. Christine was passionate about recovery. And in her journals, she said she wanted to be remembered for helping others fight this monster. Substance abuse is a big problem for young people. Nearly 24% of all college students struggle with substance use disorder.
The Division of Student Affairs, we're about success and learning. And you can't learn and you can't be successful if you're not safe, healthy, and well. And so that really is at the core of everything we do.
Collegiate recovery programs should be like a safety net for a student in college to catch them before they hit bottom. In society, we keep acting like these students should just be able to fight it on their own. We don't give them tools.
It's untenable for a student to have to choose between their education and their recovery. It doesn't have to be that way, and collegiate recovery programs make it so it's not that way.
These programs reach all of those students who slip into substance use before it becomes a problem.
We have these dedicated alumni advocate and invest in a collegiate recovery program on their campus. They can change the institution of their alma mater.
You know what's crazy? More than 95% of all colleges do not have a recovery program. I don't think there's anything more important today than giving back to your school and potentially saving a life.
College life is a time of exploration of all things. Who are they? What is their identity? And they're going to experiment, whether that's with a new religion, a new lifestyle, drugs, alcohol, different relationships, friendships. We know that's going to happen. But society now is different. We know drugs have been laced, leading to increase in death.
You know, we hear stories all the time about students, experimenting, maybe buying Adderall off the streets during finals time, and they die. They don't die from Adderall. They died from fentanyl.
In 2022, 60% of all pills confiscated had a potential lethal dose. Fentanyl is in every drug. It's in powder, like cocaine, and it's every pill, and it's in vape now. Today, the recreational use of drugs should be over.
There is no more experimentation. That's it. There's no more experimentation. Like when I was in college, fentanyl changed the game.
One in every 2 Americans wakes up every day and has a loved one struggling with this disease.
No student today goes unscathed. And I'm not saying every student has a substance use disorder. I'm saying everyone knows someone.
A good friend of mine just lost his best friend to an overdose. We are losing students. People are dying.
Some of the latest CDC data shows that youth substance use is actually declining. The dark side to that is that youth overdose rates are rising.
Like I work in the emergency room. I've seen 6, 7 overdoses of kids under 21.
There are so many people in this world that are touched by this disease, their family members, maybe themselves. This is something that a lot of people are passionate about because they can see how it impacts the lives of people that they love. Once you live through that, you're changed forever.
This is a mainstay. Just like every school has to have wellness, this should be part of every wellness program at school. How can you have a health and wellness program and not have anything to talk about the biggest issue on campus, drugs and alcohol? The problem with college recovery today is that over 95% of all colleges do not have a recovery program for their students. And even the ones that do lack sufficient funding, lack defined space, lack dedicated staff, lack appropriate leadership, and lack the right programming activities. It's important that we do everything we can to keep those students in recovery safe so they can both enjoy their college experience and fulfill their promise and potential.
LIFT stands for Living Intentionally Finding Togetherness, and we're the new collegiate recovery program on campus.
This program at Florida State University, we wanted it to be very student-driven. We wanted to identify students that could help us shape the scope and the types of services and programs and activities and events that we were providing, because it needs to appeal to students or you're done before you even get started.
I set out to really just network across campus to let people know what a collegiate recovery program was and see what was already being done on campus and how could I piggyback off of it. I met Mike very early on in my first semester, and he was instrumental at networking for me.
The biggest hurdle in building a successful college recovery program is to get the students involved. And I had this crazy idea. Could I get my fraternity, Sigma Chi, to support the activities of LIFT at Florida State University? The paradigm shift that we want is, here's the image of people partying. Why don't you help get these programs up and running as your service work? Because we all have service work, whether you're a sorority or fraternity. Why don't you use those for the greater good? When you can gain the support of the biggest population groups on campus, which is Greek life, sororities and fraternities, you have the best chance of removing the stigma that stands in the way of a student seeking recovery.
Mike gave me the in with Greek life, which is our largest student population at Florida State.
I think Greek Life is one of the most important organizations on campus. They have immense power over social norms on campus. Flipping the script on the way they view about addiction and recovery is extremely important if you want long-term, large, sustainable growth in collegiate recovery programs. Because there's no one way to do recovery. It's individualized and dynamic, and it changes from person to person. And it's really just learning and having people that relate to you and what you're going through is why I think collegiate recovery programs are so important on campus.
We want to serve the students and bring them here. I love that it's a very inclusive theory that we're backing, whereas there's something for everyone. It doesn't have to be all abstinence here at LIFT, our collegiate recovery community. We have grown tremendously, but we know there are a lot more students that are not aware of our program and of our services.
But as the semester's gone by and as we build relationships with other programs on campus, it's growing. It's growing. I think we've reached over 1,000 students this semester. Even the biggest fraternities are wanting to know, okay, we have brothers, we have friends, and they want to learn how to have that conversation. They want to learn how to deal with that issue.
I had no idea the success we could have at Florida State University with just one alumni giving back. And I am so proud we have now grown to over 1,100 student engagements. That's something not only I am very proud of, but I know my daughter is too.
I really credit our incredible student team from taking our community from just a handful of students to now we're almost at 40 students identifying as being part of this community in just 18 short months. So that's just been remarkable.
We were really blessed with Angela Chung, and she really cares about our program, and she is always backing us and fighting for us to have the ability to do more things.
Students who engage with collegiate recovery programs have a reduced risk of relapse. They have higher overall GPAs compared to their peers who don't participate in a collegiate recovery program. They are more likely to graduate, and 95% of students who engage with a collegiate recovery program maintain their recovery post-graduation and credit that to their collegiate recovery program.
We know as student affairs professionals that the more connected a student is to their university, the more likely we are to retain them as a student, the more likely they are to graduate. Collegiate recovery programs create that. They create that connection to the university, and it helps students succeed, to graduate, to go on to achieve all of their dreams. That's what I want at every university.
As the Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, I led the largest military on the planet, but I was still unable to save my son's life. We lost our son Jonathan on his 5th day at college as a freshman. His college did not have a collegiate recovery program. If it had, we would probably still have our son with us.
After losing our son, we decided that we needed to do something. And we realized there was a terrible need in this country at colleges, universities, community colleges, trade schools, just across the board.
And that's why we started SAFE Project, which stands for Stop the Addiction Fatality Epidemic.
Every campus is different, right? So the politics are different, the resources are different, the willingness to do certain things is different, and we have expertise on our team of how do you play that game, how do you navigate those different dynamics. We're here to help you with that.
You may be the only person doing addiction and recovery work on your campus, and it can feel like you're operating a vacuum. SAFE Project is here as a resource so that you do not have to feel alone, and we will connect you to the other resources, the students, the alumni, the folks that are doing this work on other campuses, so that you have a coalition with you.
We can come in and help you set up this program. We can also help you figure out ways to fund this program, whether it's through federal dollars that are out there or through your alumni. There are several alumni that are out there that are also in recovery and would be very happy to help you fund a program like this.
If you're a college or university that does not have a collegiate recovery program, then I very strongly suggest that you reach out to us at SAFE or ARHE, or just go to a college that has a program and figure out what they're doing and emulate it, because it really matters.
What's happening at Florida State University and the work that Chelsea has done with the LIFT program is a really great example of what happens when an institution supports a collegiate recovery program. Watching their growth over the last year or so, more than doubling their students, the number of students they've been able to have graduate is huge. And that's what happens when a school invests in and supports a collegiate recovery program.
We've been building the foundation for a number of years now. We had support from the university and funding for a graduate assistant. We worked with a number of different areas to get the funding for this physical space. It was a lot of work, and we were not seeing the evolution as quickly as we wanted to see it. We met Mike about 18 months ago. He's really been our champion at Florida State.
He's come to speak to students in our presentations. He's met with student organizations. He spent time on the ground with our students in recovery, which is more than I could ever ask for.
I just can't express enough how holistic support from an alum of your institution, we're just so fortunate, and it has really taken our efforts and amplified them in a very short period of time.
Our alumni stepping up really has made an impact. Immeasurable. And it's not just money. As alumni, you have a voice. You have a voice. If you're from large organizations, you have a voice. If you're from Greek life, if you're from sorority life, you have a large voice. And we want you to use it. Please help us, help our students.
By providing this resource to students, they're changing the world. They're making a positive difference. These students are our future, and we need them to be healthy and well and thrive as our graduates go out and make incredible positive differences. And so I would ask those alumni to support our collegiate recovery program and help us serve all of our students.
Starting a collegiate recovery program, funding a collegiate recovery program, supporting a collegiate recovery program, all that does is say, hey, we support these students. We care so much about the wellness on our campus, our students' well-being, that we're gonna invest in this. Supporting students in recovery is no different than supporting other marginalized populations on campus. Campuses have multicultural and diversity centers, LGBTQ centers, women's centers, all kinds of different affinity centers on campus. Collegiate recovery programs, no different. No different. We're just supporting another population of students who've been marginalized and erased for too long.
I don't think there's anything more important today as an alumni to giving back to your school and potentially saving a life and making sure there is a successful college recovery program there. I lost my daughter. I don't want you to lose a student at your university because you didn't have a college recovery program. Let's make sure every university in this country has one. That's my legacy. Let's make it yours.